Hello and welcome. Episode 4, we've made it. Hard hats, hard heads, and hard times. And today we're talking about the day-to-day lifestyle that we all go through in the construction industry and talking about things that get us going, that get us out of bed in the morning. And we've got a lot of great content to cover, and let's kick it off, Bill. What do you say?
He's Nathaniel Waldschmidt.
Still, all day long.
I'm Bill Elverman, and I think this is, as we talked about doing this show, there is almost a mythical, thing built around the morning or daily stop at the gas station. You're making decisions in the morning. Am I packing a lunch? Am I going to stop somewhere? Is there a insert name of gas station chain that you like that you can stop and get your lunch? This is a big part of the day, and you think we're making things up, and this is a silly topic. One of the things that I think of is that in the early days of telematics, I worked with a third-party telematics provider that recently or since has been bought by someone bigger. But one of the big discussions when talking about the advantages of telematics in trucks for construction companies was that you could track the amount of time that truck stopped at a gas station in the morning to see if your people, are they fucking around, or are they just getting in, get out, and getting on the job site. So this is a real topic. It's a real thing.
But this is a fun industry. So there is such thing as hard work and fucking around at the same time.
And it's all in good. Yeah, it's all in good faith and good fun.
But where that might go a little bit sideways is the question of, are you pulling off to the convenience stop that's on your way to the job site, or I know I got to get to that Buc-ee's because it's on route XYZ to get your whatever signature breakfast sandwich.
And if you go to a Buc-ee's, you're going to walk out with a squeeze toy and a cardigan for some reason, but that's fine. That's fine.
Christmas shopping is done at that point.
So what we did to bring this back home as to why we're talking about this today, you remember we did our survey of the top 10 beer styles in the construction industry. In that same survey, and we got almost 200 respondents, we told people, and I would do this differently now after I had to crunch all the data on this one myself. We asked everybody to give us their top 4 or 5 things that they picked up every day when they made that stop at the gas station. Hence this beautiful cholesterol-ridden table that you see in front of us. And
if only there was smell-o-vision.
You're right. If you want to know what cholesterol smells like, it's this table right here. Your doctor doesn't want you to see this table. And so we got all sorts of answers. We have some interesting brand data that I think people might find interesting. And so shortly here, we're going to dive into the top 10 food choices that people have when they make their daily gas station stop. And then on top of that, there were some fascinating answers, some things that really made us giggle.
It was my nightly read for the past easily 4 nights.
Yeah. And some of it you're like, they sell that at a gas station? What part of the country are they from? And then what we're going to do is this food is not just for show. We're gonna taste test a couple things. I think remind me, Nathaniel, what's happening with the
fun part about it, the hook at the end, if you will. What we did is Bill and I went to separate gas stations. Of course, we picked out food items based on the list, which we'll get into. But we added an element of surprise with this, and that is I bought something that I thought my friend Bill over here should try. Without him, unbeknownst to him, we're going to find this out on camera. And likewise, to me, under platter B here, I've got something interesting in store. But to be fair, we're also going to try each other's. To not put each other in the corner of the grossest thing or presumably grossest thing we might have found.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note a couple of things. One is that everyone's tastes are subjective. The thing that we may laugh at, it might be your favorite thing in the world.
That's what made this beautiful.
Absolutely. And then the other thing is you're going to see, it's important to note, we have no affiliation with, you're going to see some name brands here. We stopped at a Casey's, we stopped at a Quick Trip, I dipped down, I made the personal sacrifice. I dipped down into the state of Illinois, which, oh Lord.
Hey, but we have some We love you, Illinois viewers.
We love you, Illinois viewers, but we have a selection of things from Thornton's here, Speedway, and then I think there's a couple mystery things along the way as well. So we're going to dive into this in a second, but first, we had the opportunity the other day to have a nice chat with our good friend Mike Simon. You might know him better as Dirt Perfect. Mike runs a phenomenal YouTube channel and a number of other social media platforms. And let's cut now. We'll show you the conversation we had with Mike and why it's pertinent to our topic today. So we are super excited here. We've got a special guest with us for the first time on our show, and very excited to have with us. We call him Mike. You might know him better from YouTube and social media fame as Dirt Perfect. Mike, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. Thanks for
Mike.
having me, guys. Glad to be on.
Thanks for spending some time with us this morning. For those people who might not know you, introduce yourself. You're coming to us from a rock quarry in southern Indiana this morning. For those who might not know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so welcome to the job site basically here. We had to kind of improvise on the road, but been in the excavating business for about 15 years. Been posting what we do on social media for about the last 5. It's kind of taken over. Been having a lot of fun with it. We do all kinds of different projects from building pads to farm work, etc. And just living life and having a good time, sharing it with the world.
So, Mike, one of the reasons we're excited to have you on this morning, and it was your audience that came in big with us in terms of responding to our survey about questions that I don't think people ask all the time. What's your favorite beer style? What kind of junk food are you getting, and what kind of food are you getting when you hit the gas station or the convenience store in the morning? And so that's why we wanted to have you on today, because if you didn't know, not only is Mike a social media wizard and a excellent contractor in southern Indiana, but he and his family also own a gas station. So perfect guest to have here on this episode, and we got a couple questions for you, Mike, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Yeah, and again, Mike, so appreciate you having it, as Bill said. But rather than us going through the awesome survey results, again, appreciate you coming on that we can have that direct conversation and hear your feedback. What are Mike's go-to items? So let's lobby the first softball question, Mike. What is your favorite, your go-to snacks, whether it be in the morning or throughout the day at your local gas station?
In the morning, I don't know if you guys have it. We used to have a local bakery here. It was called Hostess, man. They had the best chocolate donuts ever made. That was the number one. They got bought out and sold and changed, and the recipe changed. They're not quite as good as what they used to be, but the old Hostess chocolate covered or chocolate frosted donuts, that was definitely number one. And then it's hard to just pass up on a good old fashioned Snickers, right? I mean, that's the quick, easy one for round 2. But at the convenience store, believe it or not, that is the number one selling candy bar is the Snickers.
Snickers, okay. And that came up quite a bit as well on the survey results. So I think you're definitely not alone in that category. Do you pair that up with any kind of beverage in the morning or throughout the day?
So I am not a coffee drinker, believe it or not. I've just never been a coffee guy. Anybody that follows me on social media knows that I'm very fond of the blue can, and that's not the alcoholic beverage blue can. That's the Pepsi can. So I'm a caffeine guy, and Pepsi is usually the way I get my fix. I drink way too many soft drinks than what I should, but that's not actually the most popular one at the store. Coke still got it on sales at our convenience store at least, but I'm a Pepsi guy. I'm Team Pepsi.
Well, I mean, it's true what they say. There are two people in this world: coffee drinkers and carbonated beverage drinkers.
So, the biggest conversation, not to get you off track here, but the biggest conversation between, we call it pop here a little bit, is whether you want it in a can, bottle, or fountain.
Well, so if I can get it in a good glass bottle, like I'm a Coke in a glass bottle guy. But that's like asking people political questions, Mike. We're not trying to get people fired up here this morning. What?
It's I guess I could go with the alcoholic beverages as well, but man, I gotta have my Pepsi in a can. It's just not the same in a bottle. Fountain's probably second, but
Just,
I don't
just
want to get
and
too
just,
far off in the weeds with that.
just to confirm what Mike is saying, I had the pleasure of visiting with Mike last year down at one of his job sites there in Derby, Indiana. And as we're walking out of the gas station this morning, he looks back and he confirms that they threw some Pepsi in the fridge. So he is that passionate about his blue can, as he calls it. So Mike, another important question, there's two types of people generally. There's are you a make your lunch guy and bring it with you, or are you hitting whatever you can hit while you're out on the road, and that's how you guys are getting your lunch?
Man, I am team 100%. Figure it out on the go on the road. I have never been a pack your lunch guy. We've always kind of had the motto on the job site. We have the luxury of setting our own schedule, so we're more apt to work through a break, morning or afternoon, and take a long lunch. And we'll usually sit down, try to have a good hot meal, take a long lunch, enjoy lunch, and kind of reset for the second half of the day. I bet you, in the 25 years I've been working out in the field, I've probably packed my lunch less than a dozen times.
I'll be darned. And so what is when you're at your lunch break? What is that? Are you going out of your way to get somewhere? What's your one lunch item, or one or two things that you're trying to hit every day for lunch?
It kind of depends on where we're working. We're always traveling around. We're really fortunate in our area. We got a lot of small mom and pop restaurants kind of out in the county and the rural area. So we'll usually try to hit those, and it's I'd say the two go-tos are pizza or burgers. Usually something quick and easy. We're also pretty fortunate in our area, and our gas station being one of them. A lot of them have franchise like pizza, like Noble Romans. We're a Noble Romans hub. So even the gas station food around here, ours and others, is still really good. You can get a really good lunch. And there's other mom and pop gas stations here too that make some of their own food. So we're very fortunate in our area. We have a lot of options. We can still usually probably get a good hot meal, sit down and eat it, be back in the job site all in about a 45-minute time period.
Very good. Well, and this next question for you, Mike, I may have a prediction of what your answers might be, but given that you and your family own a gas station with convenience store, would you say the most important one or two items that absolutely have to be on the shelves at all times, whether it be for you, your crew, or anyone else coming through in the trades?
Probably the three most important things are tobacco, Tylenol, and ice.
Okay, very good.
Ironically, because of the way that we asked the questions, tobacco really didn't come up, and neither did Tylenol. But if you think about the work everyone does, that makes sense.
Well, I don't think everybody likes to admit that habit, but that's usually the first two things they ask, or the first three things they ask first. Tobacco of their choice, where's the Tylenol or ibuprofen, and I need ice for the cooler.
So, and then with your gas station, I understand laws vary from state to state, but tobacco made me think of this. Do you guys sell beer or liquor at your store?
Yeah, we don't sell liquor. We sell beer and wine, and it cannot be cold. And our only restriction is that it cannot be cooled. It's all hot, and we can't sell 10 o'clock between midnight and 10 on Sunday. But other than that, we sell ice. We sell styrofoam coolers. You can make it cold pretty quick.
Understood. I guess that's why you got to make sure you got ice in stock at all times.
Exactly.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for taking some time with us. If you don't know Mike, easy to find on YouTube, easy to find on social media, Dirt Perfect.
Yep.
One of the most and I'm biased because I know Mike, but one of the most entertaining and fun groups and crews of guys that you'll find on the internet. Mike, thank you for taking time with us this morning. If you find yourself traveling through Derby, Indiana, stop at the gas station and convenience store there. Say hi to Mike and his family. And Mike, we'll see you hopefully out in the field sometime soon.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
See you, sir.
Bill, what are we going to do next here?
So now, and Mike's audience actually was a big, Mike shared that survey with his all of his subscribers. His audience was a big source of the data, as well as some other sources about the top things that people get when they make their daily gas station stop. And so what we're going to go through now is that top 10 list. And so we had about 200 respondents. Each respondent gave us anywhere from 3 to 5 answers as to what their go-to was when they stopped. And I mentioned earlier, I said I had an error in how I set the survey up. I would have maybe given specific buckets that people could have picked, because now what I had to do is I had to reverse engineer that. So if someone said Doritos, pretzels, there's all of these
Chips
things.
versus Doritos.
Right, there's all these
Breakfast
things
sandwich versus.
right, that fall into now general categories. So I took the 200, I'd say 200 times, 600 answers, and I created those general buckets.
Yeah.
And what we're going to go through here now is ranked 10 to 1, the most common buckets of what people got when they stop at the gas station in the morning.
But to be fair, we couldn't have done it any differently. And Bill, again, thank you for the background work on that, because to let you just go loose on exactly what it is, that's exactly what we were looking for.
And we're going to share some of that too. There are some crazy ass answers that you all provided. We love you.
More and more by the day.
We think you need to go see a GI doctor and maybe have some other medical things looked into, but we love you, and this is the result of all that. So, without further ado, what's number 10? Chicken.
Chicken. Did you lump sandwiches into
No. Well, if it was a chicken sandwich,
it was lumped into
that
this?
went into the chicken. But there are people, there's fried chicken, there's chicken nuggets, there's chicken tenders, there's chicken wings, chicken sandies.
100%. But it is like, again, it's those, there's two types of people.
Yeah.
There's like the roasted full-blown chicken tendies, but then there's the chicken sandwich, whether it be spicy, deluxe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And so we'll taste a couple of bit here, but I picked up from Thornton's the spicy wings and some popcorn chicken from Casey's. I see you got a Quick Trip chicken sandwich.
spicy chicken sandwich is what I
Spicy.
grabbed.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
But we'll try those here in just a second. Before we do that, we'll just continue with the countdown. So chicken was number 10. Miles, what's number 9? Sandwiches.
Well,
And
again, this is kind of the blend. I mean, this is the beauty of letting you loose on answers. But this is kind of where we had to navigate on where that gets ranked.
But this is where I'll throw in the caveat. So to count as a sandwich, this is cold cuts. This is hoagies. This is sub sandwiches. If they mention warm sandwiches like a chicken sandwich, I put that in the chicken category.
So anything warm basically would not be in this category.
This sandwich category is all the cold wrapped hoagies and pre-made sandwiches that you find in that cold bar when you walk into the gas station.
I haven't eaten yet today, Bill.
Are you diving in?
I haven't eaten
Which
yet
one
today.
is that?
This is just a chicken sandwich.
Well,
I just wanted a bite.
Well, now, since you're doing it, I'm hungry too. It's after lunch. This one, this is not a cold sandwich, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Actually, by now it might be.
This was the thing that intrigued me at Casey's. They did not have a cheeseburger. But anytime I see King's Hawaiian on a piece of packaging, I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that. I've got a number of funny stories about
And I'm gonna
a
just
variety
watch
of
you.
things.
I'm just gonna watch you.
So I'm gonna
eat
try
that.
this brisket sandwich. It's a barbecue brisket sandwich. On a
I think
King's
our
Hawaiian
bellies
roll.
took us on a bit of a tangent from where we're at, but that's okay.
No, that's fine.
That's the beauty of this. Mm-hmm. Now, did I see? Is there barbecue on that already? Mm-hmm. Barbecue sauce. Mm-hmm. Yep. Any day of the week, you would take that, wouldn't you?
That's delicious, Casey's. Good job.
So we actually, but all that being said,
We had napkins somewhere. I don't know what I did with them, but do I use my shirt at this point? Yeah,
I would. It
all
doesn't
right.
matter.
We're
but
just gonna
so
wipe
all that
that.
being said, if that's the way we categorize it, did we fail to actually put a cold cut?
No,
in
so
our
cold
display,
cuts.
or-
Cold cuts. Right, we don't have an example of it here. We did fail at that, but cold cuts fell into this category.
Okay.
So
So you say this is a brisket sandwich? I've never
Right.
heard of these before.
you've never heard of a brisket sandwich?
Yeah, does it look like I've never heard of a brisket
No.
sandwich?
Both of our waistlines look like we are very familiar with brisket sandwiches, and if he went to get me some napkins, I'm just going to keep going on this bastard. I think gas station food has gotten a bad rap over the years. 20 years ago, when we were kids, younger. I wasn't even a kid 20 years ago. But when we were younger, gas station food, it was like that heart attack crap, like, oh my God, you're going to get a dry bun with a soggy piece of meat in between. And your
Level
gut,
of quality.
right. The food now that companies like the Casey's, the Quick Trips, the Thorntons,
Kids don't know how good you have it.
it's amazing. That Casey's Hawaiian barbecue brisket, King's Hawaiian barbecue brisket sandwich was delicious.
That was
All right,
great.
what was number 8,
Miles?
Miles? Pizza.
This was obviously super popular within the survey of different, obviously different styles, different flavors. I will be the first to admit this is definitely not one of my go-tos, or I could say probably past us going and getting all this this food was probably the first time I've ever actually purchased a pizza from a gas station.
Really? See, now, to me, this is a
Oh,
religious
boy.
experience, and we're just going to talk about it briefly.
We are getting a religion on this episode, aren't we?
What I did was, over the years and all the travels throughout the upper Midwest, I became acquainted with Casey's Breakfast Pizza. And if you saw our little TikTok, you saw me picking this up earlier today. There's still a large group of people that don't know what breakfast pizza is, and when you describe it to them, again, like we talked about in the Father's Day cooking episode, they're like, that wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work.
So, I think that while we're here, because this fell in, we had people that said breakfast pizza. I lumped that in this category. And so, breakfast pizza, normal pizza, this is cold. We're having cold breakfast pizza.
It was
here now,
refrigerated.
but it works. It works.
Miles, if you can get a close up of that that deliciousness. Oh, you already went in. I was going to do an inaugural.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is my first time having a breakfast pizza too.
You've never had breakfast pizza.
I'm a one-trick pony, and we'll get into that.
So I don't know. I shouldn't claim things I don't know. The sauce is not your typical pizza sauce. It's more of like a breakfast hollandaise type.
You can claim anything you don't know. Just be confident about it.
It's a hollandaise sauce-ish with bacon and egg and cheese, and it's glorious. Breakfast
Sure.
pizza, if you had, and I'm not going to mention other names. Other brands have tried now to mimic the Casey's breakfast pizza, and no one has done it as well as Casey's does it.
That was good. Miles,
Number
let's
7.
go to the next one. There's water in here, I'm pretty sure.
There's water. Our bodies are made up of 98% of water. There's plenty of water on the screen. There's none on this table right now. But it makes
That's
sense.
not true.
Right, it's in the beer. It's in.
That's not even true. I'll take you one step further.
Oh, you got the liquid death.
Liquid Death, bury it alive, naturally flavored sparkling water.
I thought that's not one of those waters that has the. There's no energy in that water.
This is just like your whatever fancy schmancy sparkling waters, flavored sparkling waters.
Okay.
But I just seem to see this all through social media. A lot of people promoting that, celebrities and whatnot. Your Joe Rogans of the world.
Well, we have. Yeah, I don't.
Murder your thirst. There's a lot. There's a lot more that's going to get murdered. It looks like today after being done.
Our insides are being murdered here with these.
I mean, I know I already mount this.
So
but
having said all that, we will do. If you go through our first 4 episodes and you're like, man, these guys are gluttons. Like something is wrong with these two men. We've got a couple of episodes coming up that will focus a little bit more on maybe some healthier lifestyle pieces as it relates to our industry.
Absolutely.
But
we needed
water,
to get this out of the way.
Hydrate. Hydration is maybe the most important thing that you can do. You should talk about it in your safety meetings every day. And that's all I have to say about water. Miles, number 6. Coffee. It's still sitting in my truck. I got a gas station coffee that I forgot to bring in.
Should I go get it really
I don't
quick?
think you need to go get it. It's in one of those styrofoam cups that every gas station has the same styrofoam cup with the same little design on it. That there's 2 designs that it feels like, it looks like. It's either the design that's on the styrofoam cups at every random gas station, or it's the design that's on the swaddling cloth that they give you when you bring a baby home from the hospital. It's almost the same design. Oh, Miles feels strongly about something. He's coming in. Miles has opinions.
He's got something to say.
All right, no, hold on here. No, so the thing about coffee is the fact that you can like mix and match. You know, like it's like so like I don't like all hazelnut coffee. I'm more of a dark roast guy, but I do like a hazelnut touch. Like I don't need that creamer. I like that touch. And like the one thing that gas stations allow is to be able to like mix and match. Am I feeling coconut tonight? Am I feeling like hazelnut? Am I feeling just dark roast straight up? Like I get that choice at a gas station and I love it.
And for the minimal cost of probably $2, I mean, dare I say, it's the poor man's barista.
Well,
I mean, you're not paying your $8 cup of coffee to get Miles's coconut coffee.
And every 10, you get one free. Like I just want to say, like I'm not a cheap guy, but like I
Get
do,
this man a stool at
oh
the
my
table here, Bill.
God, you know, like oh my God. All right, hey, we gotta keep moving on. All right.
Throw up the
Appreciate
next
you,
one.
buddy.
And while you're doing that, I'll just say gas stations, this is free counsel. We're not charging you for this. You're welcome. All right, Miles, what's the next one?
Sports drinks.
Sports drinks.
Now, this arguably a very, very large category. I mean, my mind, being the age I am, goes right to a Gatorade of the world. But my goodness, that whole genre has exploded.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about who won the sports drink wars within the construction industry when we get a little deeper into the data here in a little bit. But it's interesting. I'm old enough. When I was working more heavily actually in the field in my high school and college years and around there, sports drinks were still new. And I think people thought that it was like water. People thought, oh, I can just drink these sports drinks all day long and be good. The reality is you kind of need to monitor there because there's a lot of sugar in those drinks too.
Sodium. There's a lot of sodium
in those. And so we'll talk a little bit more about sports drinks in a bit. But yeah, we're kind of old enough, and a lot of you probably are as well, that you saw the advent of sports drinks. And it's not just for, college baseball players.
It's not for the athletes.
Right. It's for
the athletes of those who build the world.
Yeah. All right, what's next, Miles?
Candy bar.
The candy bar, and I failed. I have failed. This was on my list at the grocery store as well, and I forgot to grab it. Makes sense, right?
I think what I saw the most out of the survey, getting granular here, I mean, and just honestly, and this is where I agreed with the survey, Snickers. Snickers.
There's a lot of Snickers.
I think that was
Yep.
Would that be fair to say that
I didn't
was
do
dominant?
a brand breakdown on which candy bar was chosen because there's a lot of people that just said chocolate or, they were talking about candy of some kind. But this was specifically, if people mentioned a candy bar, that fell into this category. If they mentioned other random candies, we had a category called bagged candy or random candy that didn't make the list.
Yeah.
So no. People go in and they love their Snickers, they love their Milky Ways, they love their Three Musketeers. Candy bar is a big thing of what people get when they go into the gas station.
Yeah.
So number 3 is beef jerky, and this again was a category that we lumped. People said beef sticks, people said beef jerky, people said hanger sausage, people said, and there's a couple weird things we're going to get into in a little bit here, but this doesn't surprise me as the third most because when if you've been working outside all day and you're exhausted and you're tired and you're like, man, I need some protein, you grab a meat stick of some kind.
I do gravitate towards beef sticks rather than jerky.
Yeah.
I just feel it's more fresh.
Yeah.
Dare I say more healthy, but I'm only kidding myself when I say that.
A couple people threw out adult Lunchables, which I've used that phrase myself. And essentially what that is that's a pack like that then also has cheese sticks in between. We're going to talk about cheese.
You get all your food groups.
Right, you get all your food groups in an adult Lunchable.
Well, this is a Landjäger, yeah? Would you like to try one of these?
Not at the moment. No, I'm good.
Then I will enjoy.
But there was, talk about weird things you learn on job sites when you're young. I won't use full names. There was a man named John who was an older guy that worked with our company when I was growing up, and he would bring Land Jaegers, and that was all he ate. I would worry about his insides and what he smelled like, because all that man ever ate was, and he didn't put them in a cooler. Not that you need to with certain Land Jaegers.
Well, that's why dry hanging
Right.
was a category.
And he would just eat these meats all day long. And I don't know where he is today, but John, I hope you are okay. All right, so that's number 3. What do we have for number 2? Soda. And so, guys, soda is bad. Soda, you should not be drinking soda. Soda is not good for you, especially if, who am I kidding? I've been a Mountain Dew fiend my whole life. We did not, for the record, and we'll get into some details here in a little bit, we separated soda and energy drinks. And energy drinks
2 different camps
did
there.
not make the top 10 as a collective group. We are going to announce a winner of the energy drink wars here in just a moment. But energy drinks did not make it as a separate category into the top 10. Soda, however, did. And 2 particular brands rose above the rest, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Anything soda-wise you want to
I
talk
think,
about?
but what's, to peel the onion back just one more layer here, as we talked about with Mike, people are very specific about the way that their soda delivery method is.
Yeah.
Can versus bottle, 20-ounce bottle versus, dare I say, what is the next one up? 64?
Right,
or
right,
fountain drinks.
Right.
Fountain sodas. So it's very interesting to read through those answers, and people get very specific about the style of which they get their soda.
Similarly, again, though, and this is now I'm bringing up all these old stories from when I was younger and actually working in the field. There was another guy, Steve, that we worked with, and his cooler, he didn't bring any food, if I recall. There was no food. There were 6 cans of Diet Coke in there, though. That man would drink 6 cans of Diet Coke throughout the day. So not surprising that is number 2 on the list.
I had a similar, one of the technicians that used to work for my dad, he was a lifelong employee. I could swear he went through a case of Pepsi.
A day?
Yeah. But no lunch, would work right
Yeah.
through. And then, so I'd always be the scrawny little kid going through, which I'm not so scrawny anymore. And, hey, can I have a Pepsi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was late in the day and he needed it, you're
then
messing
it's-
with his stash.
Then it's, you better get out of here before something bad happens to you, kid.
So, soda, bad. Soda, great. All right, number 1. Bag-O chips. And so, overwhelmingly, and I get it, right? Sometimes you just need a salty, salty thing to either get your day going or to round out your day. And so this was a big tent. We put a lot of things in this. People mentioned brand names. People mentioned a variety of things. And this almost doubled soda in terms of people
Really?
that listed this as one of the top 5 things they get on a day-to-day basis. And
Which is interesting. I mean, it's interesting because again, the question was generic, top 5 items. That could have been beverage.
Yeah.
It could have been food.
Yeah.
So to see that.
Yeah, and to be clear,
number double.
to be super clear, this was we separated out as categories things like crackers and other snacks. That is a separate category that doesn't fall in a bag of chips. This is all Doritos, potato chips, pretzels, Funyuns, things that we think of when we think of a traditional bag of chips.
Yeah.
This is in that category, and it almost doubled any other response from the 200 plus respondents that we had throughout the survey. So that's the top 10. That's what you guys are picking up when you visit the gas station every morning.